as it looks, but it's still pretty bright. I still got a minute or so, right? It's 3:59. I said 4-ish, so I guess I could go 4-ish like the early side of 4, but I'm gonna go 4-ish like the later side of 4. All right. Let's see. Let us see. Oh, good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Endarkenment. Endarkenment.com. I see. Hey, Brother Danuvian. I know it's like 2 weeks in a whole row and everything. It's like almost a miracle. I'm just shocked and surprised to be here. I had said I was going to start using my off day because now I have a whole different kind of working type situation. I said I was going to use one of my off days, but then I don't want to commit and then you know, not be able to follow through on my commitment. But that is my target in darkenment.com. How you doing? What's new and good? What we celebrating? What's exciting in our life? Who's winning? Who's resisting? Hey, water sniper. What's good? What we celebrating? What else? Yeah, what's new and good? Okay. Endarkenment. Oh no, endarkenment.com. That's what I was trying to do. Be you. Be fabulous. Who is that, Max? Be fabulous you. Be you. Hey, Max Evans. Hey, I thought Max Evans was EVANS. That is so weird. Did you change the spelling or was I just wrong? That's something. Max to the max, maxity max. My glasses seem kind of fuzzy or something seems fuzzy in my life. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. This is Angela with another edition of Notes on the News, where we talk about what's going on in the news. I forgot how I used to say it. It's not like an in-depth analysis of news. It's more of a survey of what a guan in the world. What a guan, what a guan. It's a survey of what's going on in the world, kind of, sort of, in a way. But I don't even know because we get the gist, we get the story, we get the idea. And we also know that it's an illusion, that even though things appear to be a certain kind of way, that they not exactly the way that they are, and that nothing lasts forever. I think I saw the other day that the American empire, and does the American empire, is that the same as racism, white supremacy? Did the American empire rise at the same time that the racism, white supremacy empire rose? I think that I saw, don't quote me on this, but it was something like an empire lasts for about 350 years. The American empire is about 247 years old. But whatever the specifics are, and I'm sure that some empires last longer and some are shorter. That's probably like an average number. If it's a number, I just hit Bella in the head. But the point is that if it's born, it's gonna die. If it has a start, then it has an end. The only thing that is forever is God, which has no beginning and no end. Babylon ain't gonna make it 300 years. Babylon ain't gonna make it 300 years. I think about Zero, and I didn't think Zero was going to make it 3 days. And it's kind of like, it's interesting in a way just to watch the whole phenomenon of how he just keeps being there and how he's just like, I don't know. I mean, I think that I don't know. And not that he's like even the worst that ever did it or the GOAT. Not that he's even the greatest who ever did it. He's not the greatest white supremacist of all times. But it just seemed like, I don't know. Endarkenment.com. So we usually start off with a Kwanzaa principle, and we just focus on cycle through the Kwanzaa. Oops, we cycle through it. Oh Lord, I'm beating up the poor thing. I done beat her in the head, Miss Bella. I'm sorry. We cycle through the Kwanzaa principles, and we're still using the website endarkenment.com, and endarkenment.com does essays on each of the 7 Kwanzaa principles. So we are still on the principle of, we are still, I think it's Umoja. I think we are still, it's called Umoja. That's how you say Umoja. And that's how you say in Kiswahili, that's how you say unity. So umoja, unity, to strive for principled and harmonious togetherness in the family, community, nation, and world African community. So we're on the second paragraph. If unity is in essence a principle, it is not a practice as are all the other principles. So a principle is an idea and a practice is something you do. I guess an idea is something you think about and a practice is something you do. So they're saying it's not just something to think about, it's something to do. Unity, umoja. For practice is central to African ethics, and all claims to ethical living and commitment to moral principles are tested and proved or disproved in relation with others. Relations, then, are the hinges on which morality turns, the ground on which it rises or falls. In this regard, we can refer back to the discussion on character development through ethical instruction. And I think not only character development through ethical instruction, but we develop our character through our practices. What are we practicing day in and day out, even when it's not easy? It's not always easy to be together. I don't want this thing's ears rubbing up against me, but we together. So that's just how sometimes it don't be easy, but we together. So sometimes unity is not easy, but it's that practice even when things are not easy. Even when they're not smooth, even when it's not what we want to do. Sometimes we have to do the right thing, or we get to do the right thing, even when it's not the easy thing to do or the thing that we prefer to do. Hey, Spencer Whitelaw, I'm doing great. How are you doing today? Yay, welcome, welcome, welcome. Character development is not simply to create a good person abstracted from community, but rather a person and positive interactions. So we don't want to be good just isolated from our brothers and sisters and mamas and daddies and babies. We want to be good in relations. We want to be good to each other and with each other and for each other. Um, but rather a person in positive interaction, a person whose quality of relations with others is defined, first of all, by a principled and harmonious togetherness, i.e., in real and practice unity. How are we holding each other down? How are we supporting each other? How are we uplifting each other? Now, that's kind of interesting. I'm holding you down. That's like it's a good thing, but then also like when you think of holding somebody down, it can have like a negative connotation. But we mean it like in the best way, like I'm holding you down, I'm lifting you up. I got you. I got you. How do we have each other? All right. So then the next segment is Yo Buddha, what up though? Let's see if we can find any Buddhas. I think that the Buddhas don't come out every day. Did the Buddhas come out every day? I don't know if oh, here's the Buddha. Okay. The doer of good rejoices here and hereafter. One rejoices in both worlds. One rejoices and exults, recollecting one's own pure deeds. I think in some of our belief systems, it's kind of like you do good here and you're going to get your benefit in heaven. And some people believe, that heaven is right here on earth. So if you're not getting your good benefits right here and now, then what's really going on? That it might be like some propaganda that like if you slaves obey your master, then you're gonna get your wonderful palace in heaven in the hereafter. So y'all just be cool now because God's gonna reward you for being cool, for not resisting, for being quiet, for going along in the hereafter. But we don't believe that. We believe that when you do the good, you should feel the good now and the later. I mean, maybe not just immediate. It don't have to be instant gratification, but you know what I'm saying. All right. So that's what we got. And just go ahead and drop in the comments what's new and good with you and your family, your personal life, your community, anything you're hearing around the world, anybody that we can just clap for. We're going to clap for ourselves because we need to clap and uplift and celebrate and party and be happy. Woo! All right. Now let's proceed with the notes from the news feed. All right. I don't have any tissue out here. I need some tissue. Okay. Let's see what's going on in the news. R. Kelly's girlfriend, Azriel Clary, accuses her parents of pimping her to the singer. Now, the reason that I thought that this story was interesting is not because of the specifics of the people involved, but just like the general reflection of our state as a people. And I think that sometimes we are really, really desperate for attention. We're really, really desperate for recognition. We're really, really desperate to feel important. And so we're willing, sometimes, some of us, in some ways and in some situations, to do almost anything to feel good. I don't know if her parents pimped her out or not. But I know that some of our parents have pimped us out because our parents might be desperate to, yay, give your king the greetings of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. Hey, Nikki. So we might be desperate, like, what is famous? Then I'm going to be famous adjacent. If my daughter is rich, then I'm going to be rich adjacent. Oh, and the tissue appears. If my daughter if I can get my daughter on, if I'm gonna hook her up with this famous person, and we gonna do whatever it takes for her to be famous. Or if my son becomes a basketball player or a famous, say we live again, we cut off. If my son becomes a famous basketball player or a famous football player, then I'm gonna be, the mama or the daddy of a football player or a famous basketball player or a famous singer or a famous rapper or a famous, I think that's more or less what we think, entertainer, but and so it's sort of like we might be willing to do all types of things for us to feel like we're important, to feel like we're valuable. And I think that it speaks to like our like where there's an opportunity for us to really, really practice more and more love of self and love of each other, and like just self-love. I think that there's a real opportunity for us to continue to work on our self-esteem and our self-love. We can't be out here selling the babies to the men just so that they can be famous, maybe, possibly. We can't be doing that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened in their particular case, but y'all been watching all this stuff going on. I've actually been trying not to watch it because it stresses me out a little bit. I feel like it just seems like it's all bad. I feel bad for Robert Kelly. I feel bad for him being, I feel like he was abused as a child. I personally think that he probably had some serious issues, but I don't really know. He ain't never done nothing to me, but it's not difficult for me to believe or to imagine him out here, just with some, they say they cleaned out the studio and some people in the neighborhood saw 5 or 6 girls in sweatpants and sweatshirts and hoodies with their heads down, not look, I believe that there are people in the world who are parts of all kinds of weird things. I believe that there are people who like to have sex with children. And I believe that there are people who, and these are not to be conflated, but I believe that there are people who, in their sexual practices, there's like a lot of dominance and control, and like a lot of stuff that's like, something. His lawyer should be fired. His TV interviews aren't helping him. I thought the same thing. I don't know. It seems like the quality of people that he have around him, it doesn't look good. It just make me feel bad. I don't feel like, yay. I don't know. Just the whole thing. I feel bad for the women. I feel bad for the ex-wife, because she has children in common with the man. So it's kind of like she in a situation where I'm sure she don't want to be a part of bringing the man down, no matter what she's seen. And I imagine that she has seen some things and been a part of some things. They say we do some strange for some change. But she probably don't want to, because she got children in common with the man. If she bring him down, she bringing her $350. That's all he got left. So he probably can't even afford. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. But just let's try to practice loving ourselves. Just be quiet. His law, you right, Nikki. But let's just take this as an opportunity to think about the we can love ourselves better, the ways in which we can love our children better, and the ways in which we can love each other better. The more we love each other, the more we love ourselves, the more we feel and understand and are connected with our inherent sense of self-worth, our inherent valuableness, our inherent values, the less likely we are to be vulnerable to being, to predators, and to BS. Um, so let's just figure, just take an opportunity to do something loving, for yourself, and shore yourself up a little bit more, and do something loving for somebody else. Let's shore each other up more so that we stronger. Um, Nike, Dream Crazier campaign features full figured Alabama State University dancers and body positive campaign. I think it must have been on Netflix. I watched this whole series. It was about a HBCU, and it's like each episode was like 13 minutes. It was about a band at a HCU, and part of the band was the Honeybees, and the Honeybees were the full figure dancers. And I'm like, I didn't even know that HBUs had full figure dancers. Is it just at Alabama State, or is it at all of, like, the ones where they had the marching bands and like do all of that? Do they all have? I just thought, I'm like, how very Black. I just really enjoyed watching the Honeybees. Now, on the little TV show, a lot of the women who auditioned and made it to the Honeybees, they weren't able to perform because they didn't have uniforms that were big enough to fit them. And that kind of pissed me off in a way, because I kind of felt like, well, dang, the children done audition, they practicing, they rehearsing, and maybe the school don't have the resources, but I mean, they full figure women, but I guess these women are fuller figure than what they're used to. And so I don't know if overall we're getting bigger. I don't know but I was kind of like, that's kind of jacked up. The children done. If I feel like if they did their part and they got on the team, then we have to do our part and make sure that they can perform. But yeah, that's what had happened on the TV show. I can't remember what it was called, but I'm almost positive it was on Netflix. Yep. And we saw the people. It was like one guy who was like the drum major, and he got fired because got dropped, and it was an interesting little thing. I don't know anything about the Dream Crazier campaign, and I'm not endorsing any shoe companies. I'm just I meant to bring my into companies. I just was like, when I saw the thing, I'm like, oh, what's up, Kendrick? I was just like, oh, is this? And it was the Honeybees. Zzz. Okay. New York City uniform cops, all equipped with body cameras, NYPD says. Right. No, these women were well over a size 8, just from what I could see. Some of these women were 14, 16, 18, maybe 22. I don't really know a lot about sizing like that, but these were not like the average size of a woman is in this country, I think, is size 12. I think that these women were like bigger than that. Although the majorettes, some of those women, there was like a little thing to me where it felt like a little bit of body shaming, because they can't have nothing hanging over the little uniforms that they have to wear. And one of the one of the young women was a little bit, like how I got a little belly. They were like, it was going to be some, but she, yay. So yeah, check. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. New York City uniform cops, all equipped with body cameras, NYPD says. And I'm kind of like, what is that supposed to mean? Does that mean that they gonna use the body cameras? Does that mean if they use the body cameras, now we're gonna have video evidence of their abusiveness and them being the law enforcement arm of the state, the arm of the state that's designed to beat us down and harass us? Is that what that means? That, we're gonna have documentation, and now that we have documentation, because we've never had documentation before, now that we have documentation of them beating our behinds, that's going to all stop, because we already got documentation. So I don't really understand. I didn't really understand the headline. So now they got body cams. So am I supposed to celebrate? Am I supposed to be happy? Is this going to tear this system down? Is something it's about to go down? No, it's not about, I was just kind of like, what the heck? Yeah. That was coming off of the grill. I was just kind of like, I didn't read the story, but I didn't even appreciate the headline. The headline kind of made me like get a headache and get annoyed. not a headache, but like Yara Shahidi and Naomi Osaka getting Barbie dolls made in their images for role model campaign. What I thought was interesting about that is that I think that these are like both dynamic young women. Yara Shahidi is what type of documentation? Yara Shahidi, of course, is a young woman from she acts on a TV show called Blackish, and now she has her own TV show called Grownish, and she is a mixed race woman. Her mom is black and her dad is Middle Eastern from someplace, I'm not sure. And then Naomi Osaka is a tennis player, like she's like a top level tennis player, young woman, and she is mixed race as well. She's part Haitian and part Japanese. So I guess I was just kind of like, just kind of noticing the mixed racedness. I don't really know what's up with the Barbie dolls. I don't really, what's my middle name? I don't know your middle name, Kendrick. What's going on? I don't really know much about the Barbie dolls. Like, maybe they have like plenty of like, blackity black, unambiguously black, non-mixed black women. I don't really know, if you look at their whole stable of Barbie dolls, they might be like very representative of what's going on in the world, but I don't think so. But anyway, yeah, I just, I don't have anything against you. Remember, Angela, I don't remember your middle name. It's been so long. Been so long. If you tell me, I might remember. I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's right. Um, so yeah, nothing against those young women. I mean, I know Yara Shahidi has said some things and kind of had some moments where it was kind of shaky, but she a young girl. So we all say stupid stuff and have some moments when stuff get a little shaky. So I ain't mad at the child. I ain't holding nothing against her. She seemed like she's really trying to guess what is a rapper. She seemed like she really trying to be about something. She seems like she's really trying to add value. And the same thing with Naomi. I think they had something with the child and they made her look whiter. And she like, I'm half Haitian, I'm dark, or I'm brown, or Black family hopes racist graffiti scrawled on their Colorado home will serve as a teaching moment. So they had, I guess, some boards up because apparently they were having an issue with their neighbor. Now, they were having such an issue with their neighbor that I guess they put the board up so they wouldn't even have to see their neighbor. It's really bad when you have issues with your neighbors. I mean issues that like escalate to the point where you putting boards up on your property so that you can't see, you don't even want to see the people who live next. Like, and it just looks so janky. Even it seemed like the most beautiful Barbie I ever saw was a dark Barbie from the Alvin Ailey dance collection. Her complexion was so gorgeous. See, I didn't even know they had an Alvin Ailey dance collection. So it's probably like all kinds of Barbies floating around that I don't know anything about. But it's bad when you putting boards up. Like it just looked, it didn't look like, it wasn't like, oh, we're just gonna build a fence of trellis and then the blacks with Austin autism. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I feel like some black folks have autism. It wasn't like they were like, oh, we're gonna put a trellis up and put a privacy fence and put some roses, and it was just like, we're gonna put these boards up because we really tired of looking at they behinds. It looked really. And then now somebody done went, and then we don't know if it's the neighbors, they say, or if it's somebody else who wrote on their NIGGERS. I think not just on the boards, but also like on their house. NIG. Forget. I think it was like like, how you play that game Hangman. Like it looked like a stick figure like hanging type thing, and then like something with NIGGERS, or like I can't stand them, or F them, or get out, or something. But it was like, I don't think that there's anything nice that you could spray on my house. And this certainly wasn't designed to be nice. So these people have left it up because they say it's a teachable moment. And I don't know if they're what, I don't know. And immediately when I heard that part, it made me think of Emmett Till and how his mother was like, no, we're not having a closed casket. We're having an open casket because this mess that was done to my son is nothing for me to be ashamed of. And everybody needs to see what's really going on. Everybody needs to see what happened, and we're not hiding it. And that's how they are about that. We're not going to hurry up and hush, spray over it and pretend that it didn't happen. Yeah. Yeah, it's not coming out. It's growing, it's growing. Or I don't know, maybe, I don't know. But we're not gonna hide it. We're not gonna put it off to the side. Look, this is what happened. And the people who spray painted it, I guess they figured they should be ashamed, not us. So they left it up and they say the neighbors bring their children down the street to see the racism, or to see the vandalism. And I guess, but I always wonder, like, when, like, all of these news stories that we have here recently that are supposed to be teaching people the shamefulness of saying Nigger and the shamefulness of wearing blackface. And then it seemed like you see one story about that, and then two more stories about little kids putting on blackface and calling each other calling black kids Nigger. So it's almost like, did the stories teach them that it's shameful, or do the stories teach them to embrace their legacy and their history? Because it almost seems like it's like a coded, or maybe not so coded, message to be like, yeah, this is what you do, this is how you do it. So we leaving this graffiti up to say, and the children are coming, and are they taking notes about how to do it? Because I just wonder, like, it doesn't really seem to, like, have an impact. But they say, just like Emmett Till's mama, they not hiding it. They don't feel like it's anything, and the cops have said, of course, because cops are so wonderful, they said as soon as the people are ready to take it down, then the cops will remove it. So that's that story. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star, if you want to know more about it. Oh, it's a pretty day where you're at. Yeah, it's kind of cloudy and overcast over here. Pray and wash. Finding church in unexpected places. This is coming off of Yahoo, but this is the second time it's on my news feed. So I don't really know what's up. I don't know if people are like in the laundromat and they like, okay, everybody on this Sunday, we gonna meet up at the Wash and Fold over on, 6th Street and Clarence, and we gonna have church. I don't really understand what the concept is. Why aren't they arresting the old skank who got Emmett murdered? Shaking my head. Yeah, I don't really feel like it was one specific woman. I feel like it's a whole society. Pray those stains come out. Right. Pray and wash. Lord, as we put these clothes into the washer, may the stains come out like the stains on our soul. May we be cleansed like the clothes in the clothes. I don't know, but I guess the other headline was saying that they're having church. They having church in all kinds of unusual places, and it's bringing up like church membership. Now, I think that that's interesting, and I actually kind of like it, because I don't necessarily understand this concept of you go to church on Sunday and it's like this one specific place, this one specific time, and that's when you have a relationship with God. Then the rest of your life you a hellion, and then Sunday at 11 o'clock in church you have a relationship with God again. So I feel like, if you have a relationship with God, if you're about that Christian life, that Catholic life, that whatever life you're about, let's be about that spiritual development life. Let's be about that growth. Let's be about that all, like, 24/7. Pray without ceasing. I have been to church in 7 years. Let's incorporate it into our day to day, whether let the church be in us. May the church be everywhere. May the church be all the time. I'm just saying, some of us act like we don't know the difference between right and wrong. Some of us act like we're not human, like maybe we're aliens from another place, or, some of us act like we just like the devil incarnate. I don't really know the devil, but it's like some stuff you see in society that make you think you do know the devil. And maybe I do know the devil. Maybe being a Black person in America, I think he means you haven't been to church in 7 years. It's hard to be Christian, really, really hard. Yeah. But I feel like anything of value, anything, like, I feel like, especially as we get older and as we get more mature, we get the opportunity to make some choices. And some of those choices that we're making are not going to be hard. Are not going to be easy. We might make a choice because we know that it's the best thing for our growth and development. And then we got to walk it out. And the walking is hard. The talking is easy, but the walking is hard. So, like, are you a Christian, if that's your thing, or are you not a Christian? Are you about doing the right thing, or are you not about doing the right thing? Are you moment by moment making choices that reflect what you say your values are? Does your walk reflect your talk? And if not, how can you make your walk more closely reflect your talk? Mary J, Good to see you too. I mean, that's just what I'm saying. So I'm all for the church, the church and the laundromat. Or I don't know how I would feel because I don't consider myself a Christian in that sense. So I don't know how I feel if I was like, oh, let me get up and go wash my clothes, and then I'm like in the thing, and the people are having service. But usually I feel like I try to find good in God and everything. So I'm always looking for an opportunity to grow and develop. So, hey, Rick James, I'm always looking for an opportunity to grow and develop. So I feel like, I don't know, it probably wouldn't bother me at all. I'd be like, good, let's do some work. Let's do some work. Um, Class lesson. It's a non-denominational wash. Class lesson on civil rights flies off the rails as white students take the opportunity to spew the N-word. They took it as a joke. And that's what I was talking about earlier. It's like they see the images, like we see the images of us hanging. It's a black man or two black men hanging, and it's a whole bunch of white people standing around smiling. And we see them images, and we be like, Sunny and 65 here. We see those images, and we be like, oh my gosh, it's awful, it's terrible. And the black people see the images, and they be like, this look good. That's how they act. Or the images with the grown white men with water hoses spraying people, and the children are like flailing back and all of that, and we see it and we're like, this is awful, this is terrible, this is brutality, this is evil. This is evil incarnate. And they see it and they be like, this is how you're supposed to do it. That's what it seems. So the children having a lesson on the civil rights movement, and please hit the like button. And during the lesson on the civil rights movement, the white children are talking about Nigger. What kind of lesson are they getting? I mean, what's really going on? I mean, is it something inherent in their nature? Is it something going on in the home? Is it something going on in the class? I mean, like, how does that work? Because it seems like that would be counter to what I would think. I would think that the lesson would help to sensitize them to the plight of the Negro in this here American society. I mean, I'm just saying. So, yeah, that story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star, but I think I saw it. I might be a little bit ungrateful. I was born with civil rights. I might be a little bit ungrateful. What does that mean? Were we all born with civil rights and we just have to like claim them and be like, look, I'm a full human. I don't care what you say. I don't care if you have me in chains and say that you own me. I don't believe that. I'm not owned. You don't own me. I'm not a slave. Like, is that what you mean? Like we were all born with, like you were born with civil rights, or do you mean like you were born after the civil rights movement, so you didn't have to drink out of the black water fountain? But see, I think it's some stuff going on where I think we still are drinking out of the black water fountain, and we're not conscious of it in that way. We're not processing it like that. That's my theory. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. I'm gonna keep my eyes open for evidence, but yeah, music streaming services are fighting a big royalties increase. I feel like they just gonna raise the price for the people. So the royalties is what the artists get. And these companies, the Apple Music, I don't know who the companies are, but these streaming services, they're like, no, we can't give any more royalties. And it seems like, excuse me, I don't know what it's like. Hey, Christopher Obi Anosike. Onisike. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but hey, welcome. I haven't seen your name before. I don't know if it's like that in the white community where, with their musicians, but it seemed like our musicians, our singers and artists and dancers and stuff, they be broke. It seemed like they need all the money they can. And maybe it's not that they need all the money they can. Maybe they need all the education that they can get. I don't know. But it seemed like you hear story after story after story. Have you ever watched Unsung? I mean, if you watch 3 or 4 episodes of Unsung, it's like the same story over and over. They were so talented. They were so this, and they just broke. They were so talented. They were so this, and they got on drugs, and they just broke. They were so talented. They were so this, and they died, and nobody even know where they buried. They ain't got a penny for it's like so I feel like the artists need all the royalties they can get. But the way I figure if the company is just gonna make more money. Black entertainers get robbed. Yes, the education is needed. Right. I don't know if it's the education. I don't really understand, but it seemed like these music companies ain't going out of business offering for money. So, I mean, I really I don't know. But usually it's the athletes, the entertainers, the people who are on the front line who are the lowest paid. You never hear about a broke music agent, but we don't even know who the music agents are. It's like the owners of the owners of these basketball teams and football teams. We don't hardly know who they are. I mean, we hear a name here or there, or maybe I do just because I'm like not hardly a sports person. I'm not a, I shouldn't even say hardly, I'm not a sports person. But it just seemed like I know a lot of athletes' names, like Steph Curry and Isaiah Thomas. I've been stealing music and inventions from Black people forever. You've been or they've been stealing music, inventions, labor, energy, idea. They take advantage of talented people. They need a breakdown. I mean, but that's their modus operandi. Have you heard about slavery? The enslavement of Black folks was not just like we always think about it like, oh, we were enslaved and we were out in the hot sun and we was picking cotton. But a lot of us were enslaved. Some of us were enslaved based on our knowledge of cultivating rice. Some of us were enslaved, like a lot of us were enslaved. And when we came over here, we had all types of skills and abilities. And we were developed and became experts in all sorts of things that they used us for and took advantage. They steal our labor and they steal our ideas and they steal our energy all the time. That's what they do. I mean, not just music, but like, it's like, where don't they steal it? I watched some movie, I can't remember. The cotton gin was invented by us, the telephone. I was watching some movie, I can't remember. Excuse me, please. Hey.
Hey, it's Rocky here.
Hmm.
I just wanted to sing real quick.
Okay. Rocky's brother is out here and everything. Um, they that's what they do. They steal. They exploit us. This whole country is built on the exploitation of the labor and the energy and the vibration of the Black folks. That's how it seemed to me. I mean, I don't, and I just feel like music is one example of that. R. Kelly claims to have only $35,000 and $35,000, and he blames his ex-wife for his financial turmoil. Really? That's what the headline says. This is coming off the grill. The reason that this aspect of the headline was interesting to me is the ways in which we have challenges with taking responsibility for ourselves. Like, is it always somebody else's fault? Or it seems like in some situations, like where the person is like, really? It's kind of like, is it really? What's the child's name? uh Mrs. Kelly, what's her name? I can't even remember, but you see her. It seemed like I feel bad for her because I feel like she's tried to figure out a way to like make some money aside from being his ex-wife, but I don't think she's really figured out a way to make money and support a life and support a lifestyle other than being his ex-wife. And I don't think she, like, I feel like whenever I see her in interviews, I feel like she really don't want to say skit about the going ons of that man and what he has. That's how I feel. Now maybe she has, maybe I've missed the interviews or the situations where she be like, I'm trying to bring him down, but I feel like again they have children in common. So if she brings him down, she's bringing down her children's father. And I mean, I don't know what kind of woman she is. I don't know. But it just seemed like it would be a conflict of interest. Like, that's your children's father. That's your baby daddy. I mean, I think she used that language, baby daddy. But that's her ex. I mean, I don't know. But yeah. So I don't know if it's her fault or not. Do you think it's her fault? What's her name? Kelly? What's the child's name? I can't think. Oh, Andrea. 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 She Andrea like I'm Angela. Gila, Okay. Crossing divides. Two Koreas divided by fractured language. And what was interesting about this is it was like, is it shampoo or is it wet water hair wash or something was the other term? For a while, I don't know if y'all remember it, but like last year when I used to do notes on the news all the time, remember how much we were talking about Korea, North Korea, South Korea? It was like almost every week there was a story about North Korea. Now we haven't been talking, but I still been checking out the news feed and we don't hardly see any stories about, I don't hardly see any stories about North Korea and South Korea. So I was just kind of like, it's just kind of interesting that they're in the news now. Like, what does it mean? Like, really, really, what does it really, really mean? like really, really. Um, Disney's streaming service will include its entire movie library. The reason that I thought about this is not because, again, like just like I don't want to advertise any shoe companies, I don't want to advertise any movie companies. They are on to Venezuela. Yes, Venezuela is like all in the news. Venezuela and Haiti has a connection. Um, of course, all of imperialism is connected. But so I don't, but the reason I was thinking about it is because like when I'm not like a comic book kind of person, so I didn't really know about Black Panther. But when the movie came out and it was like on Facebook and everybody was like, oh, Black Panther, Black Panther, Black Panther. And then after it came out, Wakanda forever, Wakanda forever. And now it just like burns my ears. Maybe that's like strong language, but I just kind of feel like Wakanda, I think the whole concept was created by a white person or by white people. Is that the truth? And then I feel like it's Disney. It's a white corporation. So when we be out here talking about Wakanda forever, they be like, yes, Wakanda forever, forever keep giving us your money. But anyway, it made me wonder about Coming to America. Like, I guess I heard that when Coming to America came out, they were like, oh, it's going to be a fluke. But it ended up being really, really popular. But I wonder, like, is Coming to America and they're talking about making a Coming to America too. Was Coming to America written by Black folks? Was it directed by Black folks? I mean, I don't know. I'm just curious. But every time I hear, I'm like, we just big up in like, how has it, and I'm not saying that us feeling again like we're valued and valuable and seen and like, yeah, that's how we shake our shoulders, and yeah, that's our hair, and that's us, like seeing a reflection of ourselves. I'm not saying that does not have any value, but I don't know, it just burned my ears. I'd be like, I still haven't seen Black Panther. Whoa. I saw it. I might have seen it twice. I think I saw it once. But I got like swept up I feel like I got swept up. And then when I thought about it, and the more I think about it, I just kind of feel like I don't really feel like they stuff forever. I feel like me and my people forever. You know? Yeah, blackety black black forever. I cringe too, Angela. I rather evoke the name of Haiti, which is my Wakanda. Right, Haiti forever. Yeah, yeah. Revolution forever. Black resistance forever. And then I also feel kind of like a way about like saying resistance forever, because I just feel like Black growth and development and prosperity and Black expression, like us being us being free. I don't feel like I don't like this idea of thinking about it like always in a fight against something that ain't even real and don't exist. I feel like, it's about the development of like us and who we are, and like our heart and our soul and our spirit and our love and the gifts we have to give, and our, hey, Ron Redbird, and our like our world, and it's just like, yeah. I was thinking about Afrofuturism, the concept, or Afri-futurism. I remember when people used to always say Afrocentric, and I'd be like, oh my God, what does that mean? We're centered on an Afro? I think it should be Afri-centric, but it just never, I mean, some people do say Afrocentric, but I feel like it should be Afri-futurism. And then some people are like, Africa is European Africanus, and that's this white man, and so we should be Al-Kebalan. Do we ever say Al-Kebalan centered or whatever? But you understand the concept. Yeah, I done lost track of what I was trying to say. I guess I'm finished rambling about that. On to the next story. The Lebanese female Air Force pilots breaking barriers. This is the International Day of the Woman. So I guess they had this story. Actually, the thing that caught my attention about the Lebanese women is that much love, is that the women when I looked at them, I thought that they were Mexican. Not to say that like I have any trained eye for ethnicities or anything, but it was just like, it's something about like brown people in a lot of parts of the world where they look very similar to me, a lot of them. But that's all. I was just like, oh, those are Lebanese women. For some reason, I just thought, and maybe because their hair, they weren't covered or whatever. I was just like, they don't. Here nor there. um, Colorado. Hey, Mother Wisdom Tree, welcome on the chat. Colorado police confront man picking up rubbish on his own lawn. Coming off of the BBC because they said rubbish and not trash. So not only do they confront the man, but as I put guns on the man. And I feel like, well, damn, excuse me. I feel like, well, gosh darn, a black man can't pick up garbage in America? What if the white people who own the place that hired him, why are they pulling guns on a black man picking up garbage? I thought that's the position that they thought that black people were supposed to be in. They mad at the black people. They mad at us for reading. They mad at the black people for laughing. They mad at us for but for picking up trash. Now they gonna draw guns on us for picking up trash. I mean, above and beyond, aside from the fact that it's the man's own house and they're harassing him on his property. But of course, that just goes to show us and goes to reinforce and goes to remind us that this is not our country. They are not here to protect and serve us. It's not, they're here to keep us in line. And so it's like, it don't matter what you're doing. If you're black in this country, and if you're black maybe in the world, it's just open season on you. It's just open season, and they're constantly and continuously trying to keep you in line, trying to beat you down, trying to demoralize us, trying to humiliate us, bless you, girl. So, it's like, I haven't seen I've seen a couple headlines about it, but yeah, the man was picking up trash in his own front yard, and the cops, I heard they put guns on the man. Same skit, different day. SSDD. All right. So yeah, just prayers out to all of us, trying to have dignity and self-respect and trying to build lives and trying to make sense of this craziness and this foolishness. Do you invest? Do you buy a house? Do you leave the country? When you leave the country, do you have someplace to go where you're safe and where you're free? Is there any place in this world where we're safe and where we're free? We were talking about it the other day. Does American racism does it end in America? Or is it like the other people say, oh, there's no racism in Paris. In Paris, they treat us so well. Is that true? Because that hasn't been my observation. We don't know of, or black whoever who aspired to go to Paris because it was supposed to be some wonderful place for black folks. But I mean, have you met Haiti? Have you met the African places that were colonized by Paris? They say that the French people, is anyone else buffering? Am I buffering? Am I buffering? Hit one. Hit one if you can hear me. I'll try to slow down and shut up. It's so hard for me to slow down and shut up because it's just so much for me to say. And when I see these headlines, I just think so much. Hit one if you can see me or hear me. Can you? Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's any. I don't really know. I really don't know. I just know that they say Paris back in the day did Marvin Gaye. Girl, I don't know what that means. It sounds like a coded message. I'm like, oh, what? Yeah, I think the Negro, anyway, yeah. But I feel like all over the world, it looked like the same mess to me. I just pray that we find pockets of peace in our own lives, and that we create pockets of peace with one another, that we create spaces of love, that we create spaces of freedom for ourselves and other people, and with ourselves and with other people, that we create spaces where we're being ourselves and where we're honoring ourselves and loving ourselves and celebrating ourselves, and that, we seek out those places and we celebrate those places and we nurture those places and we develop those places. And, I heard someplace or saw someplace, I can't really remember the quote, but it's basically like what we have in our mind is the future. What we hold in our mind is the future. Like what we choose to hold in our mind is the future. So let us hold in our mind us together, us happy, us thriving, us, doing the most, us creating, us being happy, us being free. At this point, freedom is a state of mind. Yeah. So, and let's honor each other and be kind and sweet to each other. Sometimes I feel like such just be sweet to each other, children. I feel like such a, I don't know if it's a Pollyanna or whatever, but I'm just like, can't we, I really feel like, can't we all just get along with each other as much as possible? I don't know. Okay. Carlos Gozen, lawyer sorry for workman disguise idea. Amen. 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 I don't know what that story is about. I just hit the link. We'll come back to it if we remember. Hey, hello. I didn't talk to you, Millard, Puerto Rico. I didn't talk to you yesterday. I sent you a link of the Black expats. Everybody check out the Black expats, I guess. Actor investigates Aboriginal segregation at Australian hotel. Please hit the like button. So, okay. Again, we were talking about this, like is there any place in the world where we could go and just be free and happy and just black and free to be black and happy? I mean, where we gonna go? What we gonna do? And then here we are hearing about the Australian Aboriginal people in their own country being discriminated against in hotels. It sounds like such a familiar story, doesn't it? It's like, it feels like it's just a similar pattern happening all over the world. Racism, white supremacy. It's a worldwide phenomena, and it's not going to last forever. It's not going to last forever. Let's see what this is. Carlos Ghosn, lawyer, sorry for the workman disguise idea. A lawyer, a former Nissan chairman, Carlos Ghosn, has apologized for disguising his client in a workman's outfit to leave Japanese detention. So I don't know if he was trying to break him out of jail or what. But he left jail in the get-up overalls, a cap, and a face mask, and I guess he got caught on TV, and so they're a little embarrassed. I feel sorry about it during my amateur plan. Whatever. I don't know why I thought. I guess it's kind of like he's probably like a very rich and powerful man, and so he tried to hide out and pretend to be like one of us. He probably part of the 1%. He pretended to be part of the 99%. So that he can 99%, so that he can escape and go on and live his exploitative life. That's probably what go on. Acor said actor investigates. I'm driving in between stops. Okay, so I don't know what Acor, but Acor investigates Aboriginal segregation at Australian hotel. White South African farmers found guilty of killing Black teen. And I was thinking about systems. I was having a conversation about tearing down the system. And it's sort of like sometimes when you think the system is torn down, it's not torn down. Oh, Mandela is free and apartheid has been torn down. Yay! And then you hear, well, 87%, 90%, 80%, most of the wealth in South Africa is still held by white people. Most of the good jobs in South Africa are still held by white people. It don't sound like the system is torn down. It sounds like it just got another name, or they took the name off of it, but it sounds like the same system. Or in America, yay, the enslavement of Africans is over. In 1860, with the Emancipation Proclamation, the slaves have been freed. And then you hear, well, it's more Black people locked up in chains working for free. More refined, Max Evans. It doesn't sound like the system has been torn down. It just seems like the system has shifted and dodged and continued to do what the system does, or what these systems do. And of course, we have to remember that these systems do not last forever. They are not going to last forever. But I'm just saying, sometimes when we're celebrating and we think, everything is, woo, I feel like we get to be a little more sophisticated about our analysis of what's really, really going on. Now the systems are just euphemism for what I see. So we hear the white South African founders were found guilty of killing a Black teen. You know how many Black teens they done killed in South Africa and America, in this racist white supremacist world? How many Black and brown people they done killed? They killing all the time. So I mean, I'm not unhappy that the person was found guilty, but I feel like, so this person being found guilty, does it change the system? Has anything, I mean, for the bulk of, like, what's really happened, it doesn't feel like, to me, it's made a difference. They soften the name, change the name, but keep the same root principles intact. That's their specialty. That's one of their specialties. The kings of artisanal cheese wear lab coats. I've never been to like a cheese event, and I live in Ohio now, and I think I saw some place where there's like some big cheese event, and I was like, oh, I like to go and taste a little of this cheese and taste a little of that cheese and learn about this and how it's made. And then I was like, wow, what if I went? And then it was like a strange, hostile situation for me as a Black person. Like, would there be other Black people there? Would I feel safe and comfortable there? Would I be welcomed? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like you want to just go and like eat cheese and think about cheese, but it's kind of like the world, you can't just go and think about cheese and eat cheese. So anyway, when I saw that article, I just imagine a world where I could just like go and be and do just explore whatever tickled my fancy and whatever I thought was interesting, without thinking about what type of environment is it going to be, um Representative James Clyburn dismisses idea of reparations as a fix for racial inequality. He pushes another policy instead. Now, I don't know who James Clyburn is. Is he Black or is he white? But when I read the headline, I'm like, oh, he pushes another policy instead of reparations? What's the policy? Just continuing to do what the system is doing? Is that the other policy that he's pushing? The continued discrimination and harassment and exploitation of Black people medically, educationally, in the workforce, with housing, and in every arena. Is that the system he wants to push? Now the system uses the Black people, keep up the system and keep us in control. The job of any system is to perpetuate itself forever. No matter who is supposedly in charge, the system is going to do what it does. Right. And it's designed to like let off steam. It's designed, as we said, to like throw some away, like it's like just like you put gas in your gas tank and there's some exhaust and all of this. The Twin 2030 policy is empty and rhetoric. I read it. It's more about BS. Oh, is that Clyburn's policy? I was listening to Arami Osei Frimpong. He's on YouTube. And he's kind of like, I think some of his ideas are really interesting. I really, really do. I find some of his ways of thinking to be Arami. I find some of his ways of thinking to be really compelling. He's got like a little comedic thing he does, because when he was talking about reparations, he like, we need to have like 400 years to mess it up. When they give us the money, they need to give us more money because we gonna mess up, which is true. I think, because our sense, we talked about our self-esteem, our sense of value, our self-worth, it's like a lot that we're working on still. It's a lot of opportunities for us. But his take on it was sort of interesting. Algerians gather in huge protests against Bouteflika. Somebody Google Bouteflika, because I think when I looked up Bouteflika, he looked really, really white to me. I think I saw an image of him and he looked white. And I'm like, is he white? Is he Arab? Is he Afro? I wonder what his ethnicity is. His name is spelled Bouteflika. Algeria. Algeria is in northern Africa, isn't it? Because the funky academic, that's Arami Osei Frimpong. You can, if you Google him under, that's how I usually find him if I'm looking for him. And I think he does a show every week. Because he was like here over like the last month. Like, it seemed like I've listened to him like once a week for like 4 weeks or 6. It seemed like I'm like getting into it, but I think he's not there every single day, but I do listen to him. And usually I think, it's like things that he says. I'm like, some of it I hadn't really thought of it like that, or, I don't, I don't know if it's all true or not true or whatever, but it's always interesting. And I haven't done the further research to substantiate some of the things. He ain't Black nor brown. Bouteflika. Right. He looks very, very white. But some people who identify as Black look very, very white to me. Irami is on every Friday. Shoot, he might be on now, or he might have been on earlier. So I don't really know what the story is with Bouteflika, if I'm pronouncing his name right or not. But I just be whenever I see anything about anything going on in the African world, I'm just like, it's just news. Like I wish I knew more about he's on now. I just wish that I just wish that I knew more about what was going on in the world. I wish that I knew more about what was going on in Africa. I wish I was more sophisticated about the African continent. I have a young lady who works down the aisle from me, like in the cubicle, a couple cubicles down, and she is from Eritrea, and I think she speaks she speaks a Nilotic language, and I think it starts with H. But I'm asking her questions because I'm like, oh, she's from Eritrea, and it seemed like I know more about it than her because I'm like, are your people Nilotic? And she's like, and she's beautiful. She's like very black. She's very thin too, and she's so cute, and she's got like this great personality. But I'm just like so hungry. It's like I'm just so thirsty and hungry for information about Africa and things African. And I wish I knew more and understood more. And of course, Africa is a big place with a varied history and landscape and, peoples and, it would be hard to be an expert on African history in the way that people can be experts on European history, because like Europe is like this big and Africa is like, this big, so it's like a long history and like, a longer history and, but anyway, Black Arkansas lawmaker Stephanie Flowers refused to be silenced in heated stand your ground debate with white colleagues. I don't know who Stephanie Flowers is, but I'm here for a Black person who refuses to be silenced. She probably saying stand your ground is some racist stuff that's going to hurt Black people. And I'm not here for it. I'm not voting for it. And I don't want y'all to vote for it. And I think it's racist. And I think it's some bull. Because I think there was a young woman in Ohio that was doing the same thing. See that? Yeah. So I'm here. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's give some 11 times 3 claps for Miss Stephanie Flowers and her resistance and her standing up, her refusal to be silenced. And may we all refuse to be silenced about BS. Although, sometimes you got to know when to be quiet, but I'm just saying sometimes you don't. There is a time to be quiet and there's a time to speak. And I figure if you're a legislator, if you're, in the House of Representatives for your state, for the government, then when it come time to speak, when it come time to debate, when it come time to vote, that's the time to speak up and say something and let the record reflect that I protest, I resist, I say no. Let the record reflect that. So yeah, I'm here for it. I don't know nothing about it, but just what I read in the headline, but I'm here for it. Texas judge gets public warning after telling jury keep deliberating because he claimed that God told him that the defendant was innocent. So when they deliberated, and I guess they came back and they said, Judge, we think the defendant is guilty. The judge said, y'all keep deliberating because God told me the defendant was innocent. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. I would probably like to research that story, except for like it'll probably get on my nerves. So like I've taken to like it's a lot of stuff that like I don't like to know the details because I like start to get annoyed and like and I'm trying to be happy. They should disbar that judge. He did get a public warning. That's pretty close to being disbarred, ain't it? In pictures, lights go out in Venezuela's capital of Caracas. So I just heard about it today, that in Venezuela the electricity is out. So is this part of the attack on Venezuela? What's going on? Why is electricity out? What's going on with the power? What's really, really, really going on? But anyway, it's and you can, if you Google it, you can see apparently like images and stuff of the city going blackity black. Alternative churches, are they the future of religion? We kind of talked about that earlier with the praying fold, the washing fold, laundromat. Oh, this is coming off of Yahoo. So Yahoo did both stories. I'm thinking somebody else was doing the story because the second story was Yahoo. The lights go out, black ops are in play. Yep. They want that oil by any means necessary. See, the people own that oil. It was a collective thing that was owned by the people. And now that they've got, who was in Venezuela? Because his name is not Che Guevara, is it? Somebody whose name that I know and I think of as progressive. Now that he's not the president, they really trying to get that oil. I feel like I'm so ignorant of what's going on in the world. I just have like this vague suspicion and this vague notion of imperialist one percenters doing whatever they can to own all of the resources and control all of the resources and exploit as many people as they can. That's like my general story. That's my general idea. The details I don't really know. And sometimes I wish I knew the details, but I don't think I'm detail oriented in that way. But I feel like I got the general story. I'm very suspicious. Maduro was the president, and the U.S. hates him, of Venezuela. But before Maduro was president, check out who was the president before Maduro, because they had a standing president who kept that oil as something that was a resource for the people, and Maduro ain't playing by their rules. Yeah, that's good. Who kept that as a resource for the people, and they were dogging him out. Chavez. Yeah. Okay, Black UK weatherman interrupts TV debate to passionately denounce building more prisons. So again, I don't know who this Black UK weather person is, this weather person in the United Kingdom, but I applaud him. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or whatever, 11 times 3. Claps for the Black weatherman who said no more prisons. No more prisons. I don't think we need any more prisons. So I don't care if we on the news. I'm interrupting it to say what I need to say. And what I need to say is that we don't need any more prisons or whatever. I don't know how it went down, but that's coming off of the griot. Does he still have a job though? I don't know if he have a job, but see, and it's kind of hard because we got to eat, right? We got to eat. We got to have a place to live. But I kind of feel like sometimes it's like, you can have a job but not have your dignity. You can have a job but not have your soul. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, you know what I mean? It's getting all foggy in here because all of this I'm doing and blah 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 and blah 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 blah. So I don't know, but I mean, I guess each of us has to come to a point where it's like, well, I don't give a damn, I don't give a care. I'm gonna say what I have to say, and I said what I said, and you're not going to control me. You're not going to control me with your money. You're not going to control me with your guns. You can't control me. You do not own my spirit. You do not own my mind. You don't own me. You can't buy me. You don't own me. So anyway, yeah. Black student enrollment in Illinois colleges and universities on the decline. Freedom is in the mind. Yes, I see. She says again, didn't you say it earlier? Freedom is of the mind. So yeah, I didn't really know what to make of that story. If you have survival skills, you'll survive and put food on the table. You don't have to be nobody's slave. You don't have to be no one's slave. You ain't got to be nobody's slave. I know they be trying to break us though. You know how they used to take us to Jamaica to break us, or take us to wherever to break us, and they be trying to break us, but they can't break us. Somebody was talking about do the right thing, and at the end of the movie, they said the person was like, you can't kill us all. Giancarlo Esposito, who I saw in Breaking Bad, and I really liked Breaking Bad, the series, until it started getting on my nerves. And I watched it to the end, but that last season, I was kind of like, I don't like it. I just wish he would get killed already. I can't stand them. But I really like Giancarlo Esposito's character until he, like, I feel like that ain't even in your character. You've been in business for all of these years, and you're gonna do this foolishness. Why? I don't understand. You didn't justify it. You didn't explain it. But in the movie, he's like, you can't kill us all. Do the right thing. Spike Lee's movie. And I feel like you can't, control us all. Yeah. Philadelphia is the first U.S. city to ban cashless stores. So Philadelphia is like, you got to accept cash. You can't in your store not accept cash. You can't not accept money. How you going to be like, I don't accept money, I only accept cards? No. So Philadelphia is the first city to ban it. I'm kind of surprised. I thought that it was like just a march to cashless societies, an unimpeded, unhampered march to cashless societies. And there the city of Philadelphia is resisting. Yep, I was glad to hear that also. So yes, it's I mean it's kind of interesting because I try to use cash. I'm not but I almost feel like it's a the last season of Breaking Bad was terrible, but I did love the show. You thought it was terrible too? I couldn't stand that man. And I didn't know Viva la Resistance. Live, resist, resist, resist. Organize, organize, organized. Not organized, but organize, organize, organize. Los Angeles County Police released sketch of girl whose body was found on hiking trail. This is coming off the Grio. So I guess that the child was a black child. And I think the child was in a bag. So I didn't look at the story. But it's on the Grio if anybody wants to look. You know, they released a sketch. I don't know if they're releasing a sketch because they don't even know who the child is. But prayers out to her family, prayers out to her. I hope that she was greeted and embraced by the ancestors as she made her transition. Philly, they scrub money here through some businesses. Must be a tax thing. Millennials are broke. Oh, you saying they trying to keep the tax thing going so they can launder money. Speaking of Breaking Bad, shoot, yeah. Millennials are going broke, says the headline, because they're having children before marriage, a new report says. So they're saying they're doing it out of order. The proper order, it seems like, according to the story, is that you get married and then you have children. And I tell you, I have noticed a lot that it seems like it's more and more common and more acceptable for people to have children and then get married. Like it just seems like it's more and more mainstream and more common. I don't know what the proper order is. I know how I think about things, but I feel like I was raised in a certain context and raised in a certain way and raised with certain ideas. So, I mean, I have been thinking about it like, how do I feel about, that? And it's kind of like a moot point because everybody make their own choice. That don't really necessarily, it ain't for me to feel or not feel or approve or not approve. They gonna do what they gonna do. But this thing is saying that it's making millennials broke. And I'm wondering if they mean millennials as in women, because usually women bear the brunt of the financial responsibility of children. That's the impression that I have. Is that a wrong impression? Venezuela power cuts, blackouts hit Caracas and spread. We talked about that a little bit. Leave me alone. Russell Simmons and Kimora Lee Simmons' daughter is sick and tired of classmates calling her the N-word. What was interesting to me about this story is that we put our children in schools, we put our children in places, we put our children in situations where they're abused and harassed. And these are supposed to be good situations for our children. Why would the child be in a school where she's called the N-word so much that she's like, I'm tired of being called the N-word? I mean, how many times has she been called the N-word? That make it seem like it's almost all day, like it's a regular occurrence. So why is their child in a school? Why are their children? Why are we voluntarily putting our children in situations where they're being abused? For our children, we have to stop thinking, oh, this is an expensive school and so it's a better school, or oh, it's this, oh, it's a bunch of white people, so it must be better. Not for us, not when they're dogging us out. So that's what I thought. I'm like, all of these people have all of these resources and they're putting their children in situations to be broken down. And that's just sad. That's sad to me. Cinema is terminating accounts and users don't know why. So Cinema, I don't know if y'all remember, what was that company I was so obsessed with last year that had like the movie subscription thing? You could pay like $10 a month and see unlimited movies at the movie theater. And they were having like all of this drama, and that movie started to break. That company like ended up like breaking down or having some serious issues. And then this company Cinema, Sinemia, Cinemia, student loans are making our kids broke and high health care. Movie Pass, right? I was so obsessed with Movie Pass, and now Cinemedia has kind of taken the place. But Cinemedia is having a lot of stress and drama and mess and confusion. Just to look at the headlines, I mean, I don't know, I don't follow it, but they're terminating accounts, and the users don't know why. If I have an account, like I got a Netflix account, and you just gonna cancel my Netflix account, you can't take my money, or you gonna take my money and not give me the service? So I don't know. Southern California high school teens spark outrage with Nazi salute at party. Again, we're talking about these teens, these children, these young people who seem to like just be continuing in the tradition of racism, white supremacy. Southern California high school teens, not Alabama or Mississippi, Southern California. I mean, it's like the American way. It's the American way. It's the system doing what the system does. The system is reproducing itself. These teens, these young people, we're seeing story after story after. It's evidence of it. The child is the Samora Lee Simmons. The child is at the school, and the people are calling her the N-word. And she biracial. She part Asian. Well, something. But I'm just saying, it's just the system is just it's reproducing itself. Tamron Hall reveals she's married and pregnant in surprise announcement. We hadn't seen Tamron Hall in a while. We've been hearing a little bit here or there. Alabama high school students, males creator and maintainers of the system. The females are the incubator of the system, nurturing the next generation. And they doing it's like it's marching on unimpeded and unhampered. The system is repeating itself from generation to generation. Alabama high school students caught on tape, speaking of the children, caught on tape calling for eradication of black people, but remarking, Jews are fine because they white. Get rid of the Negroes. The Jews, they okay, they white. I always thought Jewish people were white. I never understood the idea of Jewishness as an ethnicity. I always thought of Jewishness as a religion. When I went away to New York, or some people say Jew York. When I went away to New York, I was like, what? It was very confusing to me. I still never understood. I never understood. I just thought it was a religion like Catholic. Oh, Jesse Smollett was indicted. Is breaking news. White supremacy is confusing. Yes, because white people aren't supreme. It's like white supremacy, like it's like they're like the worst. I mean, it's confusing in all kinds of ways, but just from the name on down or from the name on out. I don't even like that term, white supremacy. Jews are fine because they're white. Across Michigan, build nutrition literacy and food security. Oh, I was kind of, I remember I used to do financial literacy work. I never really thought about nutrition literacy work until here recently, when I've just been thinking a lot about the things that I've learned about food and nutrition and eating and self-care and all of this stuff that I just almost take for granted. It's like built into my system now. And, I guess my mom has a friend who's still having some health issues, and, other people that, it's like you talk to people and it's like the things that I think are just the most basic and obvious. And I thought, don't everybody do this? It's like, no, everybody doesn't do it, and everybody doesn't know it. Everybody doesn't have nutritional literacy. Everybody doesn't have financial literacy. Some of us still believe that credit cards are the answer, because that's the propaganda, because that's how these companies make money. As long as we like buy into credit, then that's, as long as we buy into nutritional BS and food that is not really deeply, truly nourishing, the better it is for these companies, because then they can get us on both ends. They can get us on the eating, and they can get us on the drugging and the radiation. Okay, we talked about that. Crowdfunding campaign launched to save historic Negro ballpark in Hamtramck. I saw something, food like substances. Food, they were talking about food like food that you eat, but I'm thinking about like nourishment food, like in the broader sense too. Please hit the like button. That was coming off of Model Media, Modelmedia. Across Michigan, neighbors build nutrition literacy and food security. Now, there is something called the Black Food Security Network, which kind of talks about us needing to grow our food and have some system in place so that if something go down and the government or the people be like, oh, y'all ain't gonna submit, oh, you trying to resist, Jussie on 16 counts of felony, says Max Evans. Oh, you trying to resist? Well, we gonna starve your behind. Resist that, and then we can be like, well, ha ha, we can grow our own food. We got our own food. I got sprouts. I'm gonna grow some sprouts. I just got sprouts in the mail. I sent away from sprouts. I never brought sprouts from away, but I sent away from sprouts. I'm gonna start sprouting again. Do you sprout? It's like your own personal garden. It's like high value nutritional food. I'm a sprout again. Juicy smelling it. Jussie Smollett. So yeah. So food security, like, that everything we get from the man. And they could, remember, I don't know if in your community, but I always grew up with people being like, that Popeye's chicken, even though we would buy it, that Popeye's, I need to sprout again. Me too. That's what I'm set up for it today. I'm gonna soak my bean. I got to get some cheesecloth though, because I did send away for these screens for my mason jars. Because before I used to have these plastic screens, but I'm gonna use the stainless steel screens, but they're not going to be here until next month. But I'm gonna use some cheesecloth in the meantime because I heard you could do that. But I don't even remember. Yeah, I don't even remember what I was saying. Blah 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 blah. Gobble 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 gobble. Too much. Gobble 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 gobble. It's just too much talking. So, and Hamtramck, I like the community idea of it, the feel of it. Like when you walk around, it's all of these stores and none of them are like chains. And it's like just stores of what the people need. And they're like all full and busy. And I used to use screen mesh window material and a rubber band. Yeah, that's what I got like but I'm gonna use some in the meantime. Because I saw you could get cheesecloth for like $2 or $3. I'm gonna get me some cheesecloth, and I'm working on it because it was good. It used to be good to have fresh sprouts, and I really love the idea of that as a garden of cook, my own food, and that it was portable, and the high nutritional value of it, and bang for your buck. And I just really like the idea of it. And I've been doing really, really good with this thing where now during the day I do one smoothie and a salad, smoothie and a salad when I'm at work. So I do all raw during the day. And I've had I think it's only been like 2 weeks that I've done it. And there have been like a couple days when I ate, like they had Oreo day at work. And I ate an Oreo or 6. Oh, but in general, I've been like, in that same day I ate the Oreo, the child treated me to Chipotle, but I didn't like Chipotle. One of my colleagues treated, and I've been eating Qdoba. Qdoba, I think Chipotle is for people who eat meat. Qdoba, the rice and the beans and the peppers and onions and the cheese, everything tasted good. But with at Chipotle, it didn't really have any flavor. I'm like, I guess they flavor profile come from their meat, and they ain't even have brown bread at Qdoba. Look, I'm doing a commercial. I'm not trying to do a commercial because I really like to get my own sprouted flatbread and make my own stuff. So, and I don't even know what brand that is, but y'all know it might be Ezekiel. But anyway, yeah. Black high school basketball player pelted high school racist insults during game, forced out by armed guard. So I guess the father was trying to defend his child, and then they put a gun on him. Like, oh, you don't like us? You don't like the people calling your child names? You don't like the people calling your child racist insults? Well, we're going to pull a gun on you, and we might shoot you for not going along with our program of racism, white supremacy. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. I didn't even hit the link. I'm just going by the title of the story. Black mother wins case against neo-Confederate group that published posts of her kids with Confederate flags. I was confused by that. I hit the link, the images, I didn't really understand. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. 50 Cent announces partnership with outerwear company Goose Country to benefit low-income communities. I don't know about 50 Cent, but I guess everybody, you don't have to like everything about everybody, and you're not going to like everything about everybody. You can't like everything about everybody, but I guess there's something to like about everybody, I guess. I don't know about 50 Cent. I don't know. Curtis. What's his name? Curtis Blow? No, Curtis somebody. I don't know about him. A Michigan man admits to leaving threatening, but let us pray for all of us to grow and develop and to be adding value to some communities and trying to help and serve. So yeah, yeah. Michigan man admits to leaving threatening racist voicemail for Senator Cory Booker. Now faces 5 years in prison. In Curtis Jackson. 50 for President Curtis Jackson. So he left Cory Booker. He left a threatening racist message for Cory Booker. I'm like, well, isn't Cory Booker the one that said as black people we have to try to understand why the white people we had to understand what do we got to understand something about the white people. I'm like, they leaving threatening racist messages for him. He on their team. He team white people or whatever. I don't know what team he on. I think he the one who said that. I don't know. Is he biracial? One thing Americans find hard to talk about, I think that's racism. 30 fruits that are powerful fat burners. What kind of fruit do you like to eat? Now that I'm eating smoothies every day, I think I'm getting way more fruit and smoothies and salads. I think I'm getting way more fruit and vegetables in my system, way more raw foods. It's really kind of exciting in a way. I applaud myself. How are you trying to eat more fruits and vegetables? Are you drinking your water? Are you drinking lemon water? Can you eat an apple every day or just one piece of raw fruit every day? What can you do? Can you do something to elevate your eating? I mean, I'm just asking. I don't have any answers. The death of a 19-year-old black teen apparently suffering a mental breakdown in police custody, Royals rural enough of Atlanta Black Star. Prayers out to us all, and prayers out to his family and his community. What? A resolution for anti-blackness? House Dems forced to delay unprecedented action targeting Representative Omar's remarks on Israel. So I've been kind of interesting. I eat fruit and veggies every day. Yay! I've been kind of like casually following this, like this Representative Ilhan Omar thing. Like Israel, and the people was trying to like slam into her, but there's been some fight back about that. There's been some people who have said something like, y'all sure could get organized real quick to try to put her behind in line, but y'all can't put white supremacists in line. Your slip is showing. Your racism, white supremacy is showing. She has the truth to her statements. So I'm kind of interested, just casually, because I've just been trying to stay. I can't get too in depth with the news right now because it's like I'm too agitated. I can't. It's just really disturbing. A lot of the stuff. It's just like it's not giving me peace. So I try to like really keep my engagement to a minimum. There are groups of Jewish people that are supporting her and spoke out in her defense. Okay, I didn't know that. I see. JetBlue poster honoring Asada Shakur sparks outrage, but supporters rush to her defense. The poster said some people say that she a cop killer, but other people feel like she a revolutionary. She for the people. She been hiding out in Cuba. And somebody saw a picture of that, and they took a picture. Somebody saw that, and they took a picture, and they like, oh, this what you doing, JetBlue? You know, you supporting the cop killers. And they took that poster down with a quickness, and they're like, well, we just bought a whole bunch of posters, and we didn't know it was in it. And the people are like, no, we here for Asada Shakur. Some of us are here for Asada Shakur. Peace, and fish grease. Happy Friday, fam. Yeah, I don't feel right if I go a day without greens. I do. I don't know. It's like I have a weird relationship with, and I don't know. I have a weird, like, it's been good to do it. I think my body needs it, but I have a weird relationship with greens. If it's controlled opposition, though, using a Muslim to gender more sympathy. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even understand the concept of controlled opposition. That might be above my analytical grade, like above my pay grade, above my, I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Maybe. I don't know. That's what the um new book redefines narrative of the role white women played in slavery. So that was interesting. The statement was that IC who said that men do something and women nurture. So when we were talking about these children who are out here talking about N-word this and blackface that and all of this other stuff, that the white women have nurtured it. The white women have, they the mamas. They teaching their children, they raising the children up in the way that they think that they should go, and that's what's being reflected in their behavior. So this new book redefine, I don't know what role they saying white women in slavery. I guess some people would like to advance this idea that, like, oh, the white man is the problem and poor white women and poor black people, we've just been victims of the white man. But I don't feel that way, because I feel like, just like the Zero, his wife has children with him, or a child with him. Advantage to tear down her children's father, because that tears down her children's legacy. Like, I feel like when you married to people and that's your children and your brother and your uncle, you have a connection with them. So your part, you might be good cop, bad copping it, and shit. Shoot, quiet as it's kept, they wasn't good copping it at all. They was just as brutal and are just as brutal. They be quick to call the police. Oh, it's a black person sitting here reading. It's a black person barbecuing. I feel like, is anybody confused about white women? I don't know what the book says. The book is coming off of the Griot, but it redefines the narrative of the role white men played in slavery. I don't know what's the redefinition. What did we think? What is it? Something new? I don't know. White North Carolina star basketball player suspended over racist Snapchat post declaring, "I'm about to go F up some N-words." Spectacular lighting illuminates California sky. Lightning, it was like lightning strikes. It was some beautiful images. Well, one image that I saw. University of Tennessee likely won't expel students seen in racist blackface, photo, official says. And that's one of the things that Arami was talking about in terms of reparations, the HBCUs, and he seems really hopeful. $900,000 in scholarships after being accepted to 31 colleges. Yay! Black excellence. I like somebody who's studious and give rewards and just out here trying to. Arizona school apologizes after students repeatedly scream slurs during a history lesson. I think we talked about that earlier. The fierce backlash to Pell's conviction. I don't even know who Pell is. D.L. Hughley explains why he said black women are the angriest people he's ever met. Are black women the angriest people you've ever met? It seemed like white men are the angriest people. Maybe I don't know about meeting personally, but it seemed like the white men be out here shooting up random people. It's one thing if I shoot you up because I'm mad at you. Like, I don't like you because you made me mad because you were touching my man or talking to my man, or you're my neighbor and you get on my nerves, and so I'm going to shoot you, or we work together and I personally have a beef with you. And I think it's crazy to shoot somebody in that situation, but I'm just going to shoot a whole bunch of people who are at a concert. Mary Jane said T.L. Hughley is a part-time coon. Just part-time. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I didn't hit the link. I don't really care. Like, really? Because it seemed like, yeah. Okay, that's coming off of Atlanta Black Star if anybody want to know more about it. But I just thought it was like an interesting statement. After investigating a deadly accident, the Marine Corps thinks it may have blamed the wrong person for a 2015 crash. So they didn't investigate 15 or 2016 or 2017 or 2018. They just investigating it now, and they think they done blame the wrong person. After days of backlash, a video game about rape has been pulled from the world's biggest store for posing unknown costs and risk. And when I first about rape, I mean, why would you even have it? That's just violent. And then I'm like, well, I guess they have games where they shooting people and killing people and ripping their heads off and pulling out their spines and stuff. So I guess they could have games about raping women or raping men, I guess. I don't know. I guess if you into like violence and stuff like that, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess you draw the line at raping women, but I feel like ain't the rest of that stuff violent and vile too? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Workers and politicians are slamming GM for slashing 17 jobs at its idle Lordstown, Ohio plant. So I guess I had heard they stopped making the Chevy Cruze, so I think this is the plan. So 1,700 jobs, 1,700 people lost their jobs. Not one person, two people, three people, four. And when 4 people, 5 people, 10 people, 100 people lose their jobs, that affects their family and their community. We're talking about 1,700 people. And they said, I think they took a picture around the Chevy Cruze with a flag, and they like, we invested in UGM, and now you should invest in us. It just make me feel sad. Like, I just feel like sometimes we're dummies. Like, is GM gonna feel bad and do something? Are they gonna do better? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's gonna work. Maybe turn at the curb, and there'll be people who come up and. But I feel like aren't there gonna be lines at the curb of people waiting to return stuff? When I was laid off by the school district here, a total of 2,400 people lost their job. That is a lot of people. That's a lot of people. 1,700 is like 2,000 people. That's 2,500. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And where are they going to be absorbed to? How are they going to eat? Especially now that I mean, there's no, it's kind of like if you ain't got a job and I mean, I shouldn't say it's now. I guess it's always been a way. You like just evil and you deserve to like die and starve to death. And F you, go to hell if you. Let me shut up. Illinois Post Office in talks to rename branch after Tuskegee Airmen pilot. I don't know who they're naming it after, but that's good. I live here. A man holding a trash picker as he works on his own house has gun drawn on him by Boulder police. I told you I thought he had a gun drawn on him. The other handline didn't say it, but this one says it. A new study found that self-driving vehicles may have a harder time detecting people with dark skin. So the self-driving vehicle is supposed to go pick people up, kind of like a taxi, I guess. And just like how the taxi drivers see a black person, they be like, I don't see nobody. And they just keep going. I guess that's what the self-driving cars do. A new study found that self-driving vehicles may have a harder time detecting people with darker skin, and it could point to a bigger issue with how the technology is tested. Oh, could it now? This is in Not News. Janet Jackson earned a whopping $44 million from World Tour. $44 million is a lot of money. And I don't know if that's before expenses or after expenses, right? It's funny, but it's not funny. And it's like the same conversation over and over again. The racist system perpetuates itself. Racism, white supremacy or whatever perpetuates itself. It continues. With technology, it's perpetuating itself. With the children, it's perpetuating itself. In education, it's perpetuating itself. In healthcare, it's perpetuating itself. In jobs, it's perpetuating itself. It's just perpetuating itself. Brexit, will it affect the Kenyan flower trade? I gotta go. But all of these, it's a world full of interesting stories. I gotta go because it's almost been 2 hours. And my booty is starting to hurt. I mean, I can't just sit here forever and ever and ever. So anyway, I know I'm not I'm used to looping back around to the last time I did a story, but the last time I did a story was last week. And so all kinds of interesting things have happened in the world, and there's all kinds of interesting questions to ask and ways to look at things or not look at things, or ways that things that we can see are a continue. Oh, I just saw my next door neighbor, and my next door neighbor has knocked on the wall like, be quiet before. Not when I was here, I was out of the country when it happened. But then when you go and be like, neighbor, can we talk? She won't talk. And she's complained, but she won't talk. Don't stay away too long. I know I'm going to try to thank you. I'm going to try to do it every week because I miss, I have like a whole persona. I'm not saying I'm like a different person, but like I have a whole not news persona. And the only time I see this Angela is in the context of not news. In the real world, when you have conversations with people, it's not just you talking for like 2 hours. It's like I might say something like a little bit of something here or there. Not that I'm shy or quiet or anything, but I can't just monopolize the whole conversation in real life. And I miss just gobble. I watched Legally Blonde yesterday, and you know what I want to watch today? My Cousin Vinny. It's been like a law type thing going on, but I just want to like laugh and like do something like lightweight, and it's just like I don't even know how to explain it. I need to like go to like a party and just like dance and laugh, and I don't know how long it's been since I've been to a party. Just like hours and hours of just dancing. I used to love, I grew up Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, party every night. Monday and Tuesday, no party. Wednesday, Thursday. I grew up in Detroit. I miss partying. All right, love you. Today is the best day ever. You are the greatest. So be you, be fabulous you. I'm dropping to the comments again what's new and good with you, your family, your community, what we need to celebrate, what we need to big up, how you're resisting, how you're taking care of yourself, how you're loving yourself. I'm getting the song right now. How we can, just some good news. What's new and good? What are you looking forward to? Where's the song? Where is the song? Where is your scooter? I haven't even been watching The Real Housewives. Where is your scooter? Bella's just sitting back here sleeping. It's a dog that came out. She ain't even notice it. So have a wonderful until I talk. Have a wonderful. I don't know why I'm yelling at you. I'm yelling at you because I love you. Have a wonderful until I talk to you next. Just enjoy life and be blessed and be a blessing, and take care of you, take care of your family, take care of your family, your community, add some value, focus on unity, focus on your integrity, focus on building yourself up, building somebody else up. Hey. Adios. Be you. Enjoy the weekend. Be fabulous you. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Who you gonna be if you ain't you? Who we gonna be if we ain't we? Who you gonna be if you ain't you? Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Peace. It's the jam. Be well, be loved. You're winning, you're a winner. Know that. Trust that. Keep that here. Keep that